Hello, this is Smarter Prepping with Uncle Mark. I'm Uncle Mark. It's about 8:35 p.m. on Tuesday, the 3rd of September, 2024. Once again, it's about 8:35 p.m. on Tuesday, the 3rd of September, 2024. Yesterday was Labor Day, right? Today's the 3rd. Okay, now I'm doing another of these where I just leave the camera on one position. I don't use a tripod because it's hard to get the memory card out. You have to completely, it just takes, it's real tedious to get the memory card out. So that's why I don't like to use tripod. The tomatoes you see in that bowl, tomatoes and onions, that was what I harvested over the last 3 or 4 days. I don't know how many days, 3 or 4 days, however many days. And just the one day, what's in that drain board, those big tomatoes in the drain board, those 2 onions, and the little bitty tomatoes, see the small tomatoes and the little teeny tiny all those tomatoes that are on the dish drain area. Oh, cool breeze just blew in from outside. It's cool weather here in Wichita, Kansas. Anyway, but I told you before I was communicating with internet buddies about my crop of tomatoes and onions, and somebody said, so you making gazpacho? Okay, we have a thing nowadays called the internet. So you look up gazpacho and you get hundreds and hundreds of nice, 100, all across the screen, 10, 20, nice recipes for the gazpacho across your screen. So I looked at them and said, well, use cucumbers. I don't know cucumbers. But I got a lot of green beans. I keep getting free green beans and more green beans and more. Anyway, so you see back next to the blender base, if you can't see, that's the base of my Ninja blender back there. And next to the blender, 2 cans of green beans. So what I'm going to do, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rinse up, re-rinse, and cut up, and there's a bad place on one of those tomatoes over the left. Cut out the bad places, dice up tomatoes, and the little ones just throw them in whole. Throw that all in the Ninja blender. Right? Tomatoes go in. Onions, got to cut the roots off the onions and peel them and put the onions in. So all the fresh stuff, put it in, and run the blender. Zing, 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 zing. And then throw in both cans of green beans. Zing, 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 and see where the volume is. If the volume's pretty full, I still might throw in that can of condensed tomato soup because I don't take up much space, but then you're supposed to add water to it. So I may want, if I don't have enough total mass, total volume, I might add tomato soup with a little water, or I could just add that spaghetti sauce on the left of the tomato soup. That might be smarter, just to add the darn spaghetti sauce. Yeah, if I need more volume. And then you see the olive oil, and then the vinegar is hiding behind there, olive oil. So obviously I put all that in. I got some spices, and my spice tote is down on the right hiding behind my trash can. Throw in my spices, iodized salt, and accent, and black pepper that I got for free. Iodized salt is so cheap. I had like I have a huge amount of extra salt stashed off to the side. And a couple of days ago, one of my neighbors came by, asked me for some salt. I gave her the whole container. Those little cylinders that are about the size of the can of green beans, of iodized salt. Gave it away. Anyway, so I'm always saying, everything I'm doing here is to take care of myself and keep myself to avoid depression. Why would I be depressed? Because my wife died. When did she die, Uncle Mark? Well, that was 2.5 years ago, 10th of March, 2022. Anyway, so, my days are usually pretty good, though. I'm always thinking about family, friends, and neighbors that I'm interacting with to some extent. And just I went to anyway, it's great. Okay. So, Tanya, who died 2.5 years ago, she liked to say, later, Tater. So I like to use that as my closing. So are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Later, Tater.